so let's start the interview. So let's talk about type 8 and the fixations, like, because I want to know more and the last and all of those qualities and how they manifest in the type. So
Okay.
how would you describe lust in 8 and in yourself? Like, how does that manifest? What does that even mean? Like, does that mean like fucking having sex? What is it?
Okay, so lust, I would say it's extremely general. So lust, I would define it as like not having any inhibition in the things that you want to do. So this can actually be like anything, like actually sex. Could be like eating if you want to eat something in particular. It could be like acting out like something on vengeance. You know, you want to go and like live with something out. You're gonna do it. So there's no inhibition really. It's like more impulsive. It's like lust is just something you want to do, so you're gonna go straight for it. It's a little bit like sensoric in that nature. In that way, it's just not. There's nothing stopping you back, nothing holding you back from just doing whatever you want to do.
Okay. So it would be safe because there's low inhibition. So eights have they don't have very strong restraints on their behavior,
Exactly.
right? Okay,
Yeah, that's it.
okay, okay. So it's like indulging completely into something sensory, like food or confrontations, fights, anything that kind of makes
Absolutely.
them feel alive.
100%. Exactly. There's absolutely nothing holding you back.
Okay,
You just gonna go. It's just instinctive.
so it's instinctive. Okay, so
Yeah.
what about like, because we always hear this like the vengeance. Like, what is that? Like, what the fuck is that? Tell people.
Okay. So vengeance. Like a good way of like understanding this vengeance is looking at sexual sixes and eights. Because like an eight will actually do something out of vengeance, but a sexual six does it out of like self protection,
Yeah,
counterphobic. So like an eight will walk around thinking like, okay, I'm not doing nothing to nobody. I'm just minding my own business. You know, I'm not being a dick or
yeah,
what. Like I'm not transgressing in that way. So
yeah,
if anybody does something to me, that means like it's a score system. That like they got one on me, right?
yep,
So I gotta level this shit. Like I gotta level this shit and keep it because I did not transgress first. You know, but a sexual six is like he might transgress first just to keep himself away from danger in that way.
so it's kind of
So
like,
eight is like,
yeah, from fear, right? They kind of do the
yeah,
attack before,
exactly,
like like the best
exactly.
defense is attack. This is how
Yeah,
they
that's
often
sexual
think.
six, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, but for an eight, it's like I'm just doing my shit. I'm minding my own business. If you come fucking with me, there's gonna be something back.
so
There's gonna have to
it's
be repercussions.
so like eights are very almost, they keep track of, like, they're very aware of when someone's trying to fuck them over, and they will keep
Yes,
score, as you
exactly.
said. They will keep
Yeah,
score.
exactly.
Okay, so that's what it means. Basically, payback. That's as simple as that.
Payback.
You step
As
on
simple
eight's
as that.
toe, eight will step on both of your fucking toes. That's literally what it means,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly what it means. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's get deeper into the topic. So, because there's so many questions people have and misconceptions and shit. Like lately, there was a question on personality database about like eights being dominant or them not being dominant. Do you think
Mm.
eights will be dominant as people, or do you think you can be an eight and not be a dominant person? What do you think
No,
about that?
like as an eight, the whole idea is like protection. I mean, the whole idea is you standing. The whole idea is you not having somebody have. So there's definitely going to be an element of dominance. You can't be an eight and not be. It's just not gonna. It doesn't get into it sense. So it doesn't mean it's gonna be like some fucking chimp or something just going around being a fucking animal. But it does mean that it's gonna have like higher dominance than
Yeah.
usually other people.
So basically, a
It's just
person with
yeah,
strong presence,
yeah,
tough-minded individual who's not gonna
yeah,
submit to other people. So by default, they're gonna be
exactly,
more dominant. That makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. So what about, because we always hear this, right? What about like vulnerability? Like, f- like the basic fear is like AIDS being scared and being afraid of vulnerability. What do you think about that? Is that true or is this bullshit?
So the unhealthier the eight is definitely going to have this aversion to vulnerability and denial and extreme. Like you made a video talking about like this denial can go
Yes.
to extremes. So even close people to you are going to be like, "Yo, you can just talk about shit," and you're going to be
Right.
like, "What the fuck are you talking about? There's nothing wrong," you know?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, the denial is so deeply seated. You're not even aware of it.
Yeah,
Like you're so.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
the thing.
Yeah, I start getting agitated. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? But like the higher up in hell that you go, the more, let's say you put your guard down and you're like, you know what, maybe like, okay, maybe I'm vulnerable in this thing. Who gives a fuck? You know, so you start getting less defensive. So
Yeah.
it's, it depends on the person, how healthy they are.
But how would you tell the difference between like, because sixes can also have aversion to vulnerability. How would you kind of tell people like how to tell the difference between eights being invulnerable and like
Hmm.
sixes trying not to be vulnerable? Do you know?
Okay. Yeah. So since it's a head type, they're so heady with it and it's conscious with it. So they're actually aware of their vulnerability. They're like, fuck, why am I such a pussy? I gotta fight this shit. But man, with a fucking eight, it's like there is nothing you're gonna fucking do to convince them. They would rather fucking die on it for them to succumb to it and be convinced that they're vulnerable. So
Mm-hmm.
with the six, it's like okay, deep down they fucking know they're a pussy, and they're just combating that idea. Especially sexual six, but with an eight, it's like ingrained in them that no, that shit does not fucking exist.
Yeah.
If I'm vulnerable, how come I did this and that?
Yeah.
And they would literally they would put their fucking whole ego on the line. They would put everything on the line just for that idea. So
So,
that is like
yeah.
central to a man.
I mean, you've really captured it nicely because that's how I used to kind of explain those two types the exact same way. Sixes would be very aware of their vulnerabilities, but they would actively push against them, while the eight would
Yeah,
have almost like this blindness. There would be like this weird lack of self awareness and blindness.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Lack of self awareness completely.
Yeah, yeah. So we have that covered. Would you say eights are emotional people, or do you think they're not that emotional? What do you think about that?
I would say it really depends on the subtype. And like by emotional, like like let's say I think like self preserving eights might be the most disconnected from their feelings.
Yeah,
So
right.
they actually might not be like they're probably very stoic and
Yeah,
extremely unmovable in that way.
yeah,
As for a social eight, I'm not sure. But for
yeah,
a sexual eight, since I'm a sexual eight, like I can be like emotional in a way that like it's more of anger. Like the anger with the sexual eight, it's like sometimes it could be so fucking intense. Like that is
yeah,
considered an emotion, sure, yeah. So you could feel that. You can feel that. I'm not sure like self-preserving can feel this too, like the fucking joy. Like we can be extremely joyful
yeah.
sometimes. So
So,
we can experience
hmm
experience everything intensely.
but would you say like you struggle with feelings like maybe envy, guilt, like
No,
low
no,
self-esteem,
no, 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 no,
sadness?
no, no. No, these like neurotic low. I'm sorry, high neuroticism.
Yes.
Like that's not present at
Okay.
vulnerability, anxiety. Like that shit is not present.
So just
I would say
basically,
usually it's
anger
anger.
is
Yeah.
anger is the most pronounced, like very
Oh yeah.
visceral.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard like some people saying that like deep down these are different emotions. These might be
Right.
like anxiety or
Yeah,
fear
yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
else. Whatever it is, it just comes out as
yeah.
I don't know. It's like the eight type structure. It just funnels everything into anger. So anger is like the number one emotion if it's a negative emotion.
Uh,
But we can experience all other like joy,
of course, yeah.
happiness,
Well,
all
yeah.
that.
We're not like some
Yeah,
psychopathic
exactly.
psychopaths, yeah. So,
Mm.
so if you were to tell people like about the misconceptions of Type 8, like in your opinion, from what, because you've been around. So what would those be in your opinion? Misconceptions. Yeah.
Misconceptions. Mm. I would say maybe some misconceptions are that like eights deep down are soft and like
All right. Yeah. So I've
people
heard this
saying,
too. Like they're very hard outside but soft inside.
yeah, that's not true at all. I mean, just being honest. I mean, we let's say we're just sitting by ourselves. We don't
Yeah.
start saying, "Oh my God," like let's start acting in a soft
Right.
fucking way.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah. Yeah.
thinking soft. No, no. It's like I don't know. It's just we're disconnected from certain aspects in our personality. Like we don't really experience softness in that way. We don't experience vulnerability in that way. It's just all the time. It's just how we are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's not like I always say like there are some people, some dudes who kind of act tough, but then they're on their own and stuff, fucking weeping in their pillow or being all neurotic. For an eight, it's the same thing 24/7. If you're with your
Yeah.
girlfriend or with someone else, you're not gonna be,
Mm,
like an emotional person who's gonna be all soft. So,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
anything else?
I'm a misconception. Yeah, like some people would say, like eights are like control freaks.
Okay, yeah, that's a
Crazy
good one.
fucking control freaks. Yeah, like honestly speaking, like let's say you're in a situation, sure, and the situation does not require you to fucking control anything. You're not gonna control shit. You don't need to control it. But if the situation is getting out of hand, or you think you might get in danger, or that maybe you're gonna get affected in a way from the situation, then you're gonna control the fuck out of it, like to your best ability. So it's not like a type one who's gonna,
Oh yeah,
trying to
yeah,
enforce everything into
yeah,
his own like ideals.
yes.
No, with an eight, it's like okay, if the fucking situation requires it, then we're gonna go for it.
So yeah, because people often, this is how many type ones mistype themselves as eights, because people forget ones are actually very controlling, way more controlling than like an eight. So
100%.
so eights, as you said, will only resort to that in those more intense situations.
Mm.
Because they eights don't care how you live your life. That's not really their primary focus. So
And we don't give a fuck.
exactly.
It's just about it's about like our fucking state.
Okay, so we have the whole debunk the whole fucking myth of okay, what about a misconception like AIDS being? Would you say they're very reactive individuals? Because they are. They belong
Oh,
to the reactive group. Like,
oh
what
yeah.
what do you think about that?
Like I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure about other subtypes because as sexual eight, I can be extremely reactive sometimes.
Yeah,
So, so it definitely depends on levels of health, but as a baseline, like yes, I can be extremely reactive. The external stimuli, if I think somebody's trying to get one over on me or whatever it is,
yeah.
I could be reactive in that way, definitely. So,
Okay.
but not like to the point of like I think sexual sixes might be more reactive. They actually might be more combative sometimes, But a
Yeah.
sexual eight is definitely in that group.
Okay. Okay. So what about um hedonism? Hedonism and pleasure seeking, because we hear those things, because we often hear from Naranjo people that eights are very sensory oriented people, and that can lead to like extreme level of hedonism. And would you say
Yeah.
that's present in you?
Ooh, I mean, yeah. I mean, shit. I don't know anybody more hedonistic than me, to be honest. I mean, definitely in my teens, I was fucking off the hook. I was fucking crazy. Like anything I wanted to fucking do, I would go for it. It's all about pleasure and lust and shit like that. So I would fucking indulge into anything. Especially as a teen, bro. Like, there's nothing stopping me.
Even at the cost of your health, right? Like even if there was
Oh
danger.
shit, bro. Like I told you, like I got into fucking deep shit sometimes. Like fucking yeah. Had to go to hospital sometimes,
Yeah,
had to, go through a lot of shit. So
yeah,
like health comes last, sometimes it's just
yeah.
like, okay, I want to do this shit. Let's fucking do it. Who gives a fuck? And this is like the fucking invulnerability that sometimes you feel like you're
You're
never gonna fucking
invincible.
suffer from
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Let's do this. And the sexual aid in particular is like the lust is so fucking intense. So you're gonna indulge to the fucking max. Like speed eight probably is gonna be thinking about their health
yeah.
and thinking about themselves.
Oh yeah, they're gonna
And
be
me
more
being
cautious.
speed blind, yeah, definitely. I speed blind and sexual dumb.
Yeah,
It's just not a good
it's
combination for your health
crazy.
at
It's
all.
very crazy because you're
Mm.
like it's like pure lust and no
Yeah,
breaks for self
yeah,
preservation.
no breaks.
It's
Exactly.
intense. It's intense. So also a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
this also then leads to impulsivity, right? And
Oh
like
yeah.
acting in the moment. You're very. Would you say you're not much of a planner? You just act in the moment. Or like how are you like?
Yeah. Honestly speaking, like 90% of the time, I'm just going in the moment. Like in business, even like, or in work, sure, and uni. Like, okay, I'm not gonna fucking plan my whole deal. I'm gonna look at the fucking situation. I'm gonna be like, okay, what the fuck can I do today to let's say improve or whatever. So I'm more in the moment. I'm more in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And also me being an 873, like an
Mm-hmm.
8 and 7 being an 817, like there's a lot of fucking emphasis on impulsivity and it's
Yeah.
being in the moment and
Yeah.
extracting everything I can from the moment. So it's non-cerebral with me. I think like 8 5s, eight five
Yeah.
threes, 8 5 4s,
Yeah.
um, or 8 5 2s. They're much more cerebral. They can be a little bit like E and TJ like,
Yes.
but like 8 7 3, that's
Yeah.
very SE dom in nature.
Yeah. You're like peak SE dom in that sense. Like you are very
Yeah,
adaptable in the moment, but just focus on what's in front of you. Like you don't really,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
spend too much time thinking about. Okay.
Mm.
So what about the term anti-intellectual? Because we often hear AIDS being considered anti-intellectual and SO8 being considered the only intellectual aid. How? What do you think
Mm.
that means? What is that?
So I think it's a few things.
Okay.
I think SO8s are usually ENTJs for a reason. They got like high NI, and they have much more cerebral focus. They can actually, step back, assess the situation. Since they're like the counter type,
Right.
they're not the most, sensoric eight.
Yeah.
So they're a bit more heady. And like in the big five, they're usually probably inquisitive, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But for like, a sexual eight or maybe even a social eight, sorry, SB eight, it's definitely not as fucking cerebral, not as inquisitive. It's sensoric to the max. I would say probably the most sensoric, alongside nine.
So does it
So,
mean like you're not focused on theory and abstraction? You just
oh no,
like
oh no,
what
like
does that
I
mean?
can be definite. It means okay. So with me, I'm focused on logical systems. And
Yeah.
some people would say that's like different from intuition by itself because intuition requires like extrapolating like different possibilities and deeper meanings and like let's say voodoo shit,
Yeah.
that's not the same as what I'm doing. So because also I'm an SLE, I got TI creative,
Yeah.
so I can go into systems and logic and logical frameworks, and those things I don't think require that much intuition as much as they require logic,
Yeah.
require you just breaking things down, understanding them. So with the anti-intellectualism, I think it's just the lack of propensity of going into abstraction, going into extrapolating ideas, of connecting dots, of thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Like and you
Planning, more
planning
cerebral,
exactly.
more careful, not
Yeah,
as
yeah,
engaging
yeah,
in just
mm,
primarily physical stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That
exactly.
makes sense. Okay. So what about some mistypes? What do you think? Which types could mistype as an A? Because
One
we know,
hundred
like we
percent
know that
essentialistic.
like personality database is full of fucking wokies
Oh,
who LARP as aids. So this
oh
is a
my
shout out to
god,
all the fucking aids there with weird fucking
oh,
types.
fucking mood board.
Yeah. So what would you say? Which types tend to like mistype?
Okay, so I would say, as for MBTI types, like I don't think INTJ8 is possible 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Right.
think the only fucking possible for eight, an ESTP, ESFP, a fucking extremely like sensory focused ENTJ, like with the
Yep.
TERT SC, like
Yep.
unlike the traditional ENTJ. And maybe, I'm not even sure about this, but ISTP, right? Could
Yes.
be
Right.
possible. I'm not sure about that. But what I know for sure is that as for Enneagram, people are going to mistype sexual six as eight, like type one as eight, social three as eight. A lot
Yes.
of fucking like Enneagram types. Because I'm not sure why. I mean, fucking people probably are like, oh, this is a fucking powerful character. Come on, let's fucking type that. Maybe that's the fucking case. I don't know, but like a lot of fucking types just can mistype as eight.
Hmm. Because I'm guessing a lot of them, like people who don't know much, they're like, "Oh, I don't like vulnerability. I push
Mm,
against it, and I'm aggressive."
yeah.
So they assume it's an eight, which obviously it
Mm.
isn't an eight. Same for ones, as
Right.
I made a video. If the trait
Mm.
structure of one, they can seem very eight-like. Like honestly, like they're very
Oh
dominant,
yeah,
very controlling and shit. So that can mislead people.
definitely.
What about
Mm.
the infamous sexual four? Because so many people on personality database
Oh yeah.
have this like, yeah, a six four is like eight. So what do you think about
Fuck
that?
that. Fuck that. No, no. I mean, I don't think there is any other fucking type that's more opposing to an eight than in every single fucking aspect. We're talking about emotionality
Yeah,
wise. We're talking about like being so careful about like your like. I mean, I think the whole problem with fours is like how they fit in and shit like that. I
it's
mean,
an image type.
we're
It is an image
yeah,
type after all.
it's a fucking yeah, it's an image type. It's in the heart. It's in the heart group. So like fours are so fucking unlike eights. The only fucking thing that has people saying, "Oh, look, might be an eight," is because of the sexual fours, neurotas and what's it called, neuroticism or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
like the anger that sometimes they show, the
right.
combativeness, and it's not even nowhere close to an eight. It's more of a, it's like with a sexual four, it's more of a hissy fit. To put
Yeah,
it
it's like a
honestly.
tantrum. I mean, it is a tantrum.
Exactly.
They're harmless
It is.
kittens, right? They're very harmless people who like yell and shit. People have a weird
Yeah.
guys. You have weird
I mean,
confusion
guys,
with fucking fours and
yeah,
eights. Jesus.
it's not the fucking. I'm sorry, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, sexual fours, it's definitely if somebody who's like they're, just not that fucking good in the Enneagram, they might say, oh, okay, might be a, but no,
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a weird trend that people just jump on, but it doesn't make sense. Like, fours are
it just doesn't.
emotionally connected and very spiritual,
Yeah.
oftentimes, and emotionally with
Oh,
deep
yeah.
emotional depth. That's
Yeah.
literally
People focus.
fucking
Yeah.
against eights. Like, bro,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? So it's very
It's
strange,
the
but
opposite.
that is exactly what the fuck happened. So, So, what would you say to all the eights that are watching this? Like, what would be the growth point to an eight? Like, what
Growth
should they
point.
focus on to kind of grow as an eight? Like, what are the tips? Because you've been in unhealthy stages, I'm sure, and I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what
Mhm.
are some advice that you could give people? What is some advice?
I would say, I would honestly say, like, being in an unhealthy stage is so fucking easy for you to just fucking alienate every single fucking person and just think, you know what, fuck that shit. Like, I don't need none of that. You know, why the fuck would I need somebody and that type of shit? So, for an unhealthy eight, I would say, bro, like, just fucking keep track of the people that is gonna probably be there for you. Because, like, at an unhealthy stage, you can fucking keep going, keep sinking down, and
So yeah,
like much
how
deeper.
is the unhealthy stage? You just disconnected emotionally, right? You
Oh,
become this sociopathic
unhealthy stage.
megalomaniac.
Oh fuck yeah! Like the unhealthy stage, bro. You just become a fucking, like you said, like a fucking sociopathic animal.
Yeah,
It's more like, okay, nobody's gonna fuck with me. All right, if anybody tries something, and the fucking vengeance is like to the fucking max, so you might actually do some damage. It's like you
yeah,
might fucking do some shit that you're gonna end up regretting. And it's to the point where, like you said, like we were talking before, dog eat dog. You become so fucking territorial. You start thinking, okay, like this is my fucking space. This is where I'm gonna feel fucking good. And if anybody encroaches on it, I'm gonna fucking fuck them up.
yeah,
So it can become very ugly so fast. And that could be like physically, literally.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
let's say like in your house, if somebody like moves some shit around, or you perceive that they're fucking
yeah,
undermining your
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
territory in that way. I'm serious. Like it can
yeah.
get to that point. It can get that fucking like visceral. So you start acting out. You start like the vengeance shit starts to go crazy.
And a-
Um,
and with that, as you mentioned, I'll add on it is the fact that you're so disconnected from vulnerability, right? You're not even
yeah,
aware that it exists in the first place.
exactly. Yeah, you're not aware that exists, so you're willing to do anything. And but the higher you go up in
Yeah,
health, like the more cerebral you become. So you're gonna stop being so fucking animalistic in that way. All about my fucking thing, my
yeah.
territory, my fucking reputation, and you start to become a little bit like less guarded in that crazy way.
So more
Mm.
open to people, more tolerant of other people,
Exactly. More,
and more
yeah,
accepting.
like the best way to describe an unhealthy age is antisocial. That's
Yeah,
the best fucking way.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
100%
Mm.
antisocial. Yeah, and then you tap into your two-ness. Would you say do you integrate into two? Like I know it's not a state that like you can be in all
Mm.
the time, but do you have those moments where you integrate into two for a while and you kind of catch yourself in
Yeah,
it?
most definitely. Like I got a younger brother, like 15 years younger than me. He's like 7. And honestly speaking, like when I'm with that guy, like it's like it's kind of like my son in a way. Like he's
Oh
so
yeah,
much
for
younger
sure,
than me.
for sure. Yeah,
So the two-ness comes out like extremely prominent. Like I would do anything. He needs something, I'm always there. That type of shit, and become extremely protective of him. Two-ness only comes out with him. Like
yeah,
children in general.
yeah. I do also like I don't mind like adults are a different ball game, but like kids you should
Mm,
never kids are innocent, so let's
absolutely.
keep them out of
Yeah.
it. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay, that's pretty fucking useful. Let me think.
Mm.
What about respect and disrespect? Would you say age care deeply about
Mm.
that?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, fucks. Yeah. I mean, it's a fucking problem because sometimes, like, if you're hung on it, like, some people might not have meant to disrespect you in that moment, but you're gonna snap into your fucking mode of, you know what, I'm gonna fuck you up. You wanna fuck with me? I'm gonna get you back. and that might just fucking become some, destructive behavior. So yeah, respect is definitely big. Like we will give respect. We have no issues giving respect. But if
Hmm.
if we feel disrespected, then it's gonna be like I told you before.
Yeah.
Like it's all about that. It's all about reputation and respect. Because respect in the end, if you don't respect me,
Yeah.
then what the fuck
Yeah.
is stopping you from doing anything you want to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Uh,
respect is like number one.
so to an eight, respect is like the highest quality, like the highest currency you can have. Like
Yes,
literally,
exactly. I always
respect
fucking say
is the
this. Oh my
highest
god.
currency you can have.
I always fucking say this. Like respect is the
Yeah.
fucking only currency in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like people wouldn't be doing whatever the fuck they're doing with their, career wise, everything except for respect. You give that motherfucker respect if he deserves it, you
Yeah.
know?
And we are very we have no issues in giving respect, but
Absolutely not.
we will not tolerate being disrespected. Like that's not
Yeah.
gonna. It's not. We're not up for that.
It's not gonna slide. No.
Yeah. So if you were to, in your opinion, the archetype of an eight, which sociotype would represent the archetype of an eight the best, in your opinion?
Okay. Um, I would say sexual eight would be the most like basic form of eight, probably,
Okay.
since it's probably the most sensoric in that way. But also, I would say, but I can make like a case also like social eight is like what people think of an eight as the leader,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
social leader type of thing. Like social eight also works perfect. Self-preserving, I mean, also in a way, sure, so I don't think like there's one pure archetype
Okay.
because
Depends
it's
on the
so hard to
subtype,
pin down,
basically. Best depends on the
Yeah, yeah,
subtype. But if you were
yeah.
okay, so if you were use the archetype for each subtype, in your opinion,
Okay, as like a person, famous person, or
no, just like which type would, in your opinion, be
okay.
the
So which like what
archetypal?
MBTI type,
No, socionics. Let's talk socionics, because
Oceanics.
yeah,
Okay,
fuck
okay.
MBTI, it's full of wokies.
Yeah, fuck that. Okay, so sexual eight. I would say sexual eight is definitely gonna be fucking SEE, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm an SLE sexual
yeah,
eight, but only because I'm a SC subtype. My fucking SCs so it's like my TI is not as strong as like I would assume like normal
yeah.
SLEs. I don't think like a SLE, a normal SLE, SLE zero, or SLE TI is possible for a sexual position. I'm not sure,
So basically, you're
but
like your SE has to be turbocharged even more.
yeah, exactly. And SEE is probably the archetype
Hmm.
sexual eight. I would say self-preserving eight. Self-preserving eight could be SLETI
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah,
It could be. I don't know. Maybe if it could be LSI.
yeah. I'm also torn.
They both have
I'm
that.
torn. I'm torn when it comes to that. I think SLE would probably be the main and the best fit, But
Mhm.
LSI is probably the second one. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
torn. I'm torn about because like TI base and I'm
yeah. TI
mobilizing.
base.
It's a bit
mm,
odd.
Yeah, I would say like SLETI is a very good fit for self-preserving aid. I would say
Okay.
social aid is a fucking clear cut. SLEs, like the fucking stereotypical SLE. I think that would be a
Yeah.
like a social aid.
Yeah. I know some people like I was actually there's this weird guy who was on personality. But many people do vote like SO8s as SCEs because SLEs are villainous and they're evil and they have no FI, which kind of makes me laugh because SO8 is very beta quadra if you really look at the descriptions,
Oh
right?
yeah, it
So
is.
it's
It is like the most beta quadrant.
yeah, it is quite interesting. Um, okay, well, 28 minutes of our interview. Maybe I think it's I'm not sure if there's anything more to add to the eight discussion. Let me think. Now, okay, well, let's wrap it up. I think we are done with the interview. It's going to be 30
Okay,
minutes.
okay, okay.
And do you have any last words for the audience that you want to kind of uh, say anything before
Yeah.
we end it?
I mean, guys, come on, just beat the fucking type on. Everybody either fucking dick riding the type or fucking hating on the type. It's not that fucking deep, Just fucking take it easy.
Yeah, yeah. To,
Hopefully yeah. Hopefully the discussion, outlines some fucking things that people might misconsider about aid, and because I know a lot of people might think aid like, oh, it's fucking always gonna be some fucking guy or antisocial freak, but it's not like
yeah.
that, most of the time.
So we just misunderstood. We're like force,
Yeah,
guys. I know we were saying we're not a life force, but we're like force. No, but
yeah,
you're 100% right. Anyway, so thank you so much for the interview. Okay,
yeah. Thank you for
uh,
having
always. And yeah, see you guys later. And I hope you guys enjoyed the interview.
me.